Sportsman Mandela. As usual, we start with a quote. Challenges are what make life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes them meaningful. Once again, welcome to Sportsman Mandela. As usual, in the studio, I have Mr. Carl Teddy Alner with me. Good morning, Teddy.
Hey, good morning, man.
Okay.
Good to be here once more. Challenges, there are more challenges. But hey, I'm very pleased to see some young people here involved in sports, especially referee. He may be a World Cup referee at the age, you know what I mean? So
that's so true.
So I like young people, so
right.
Great to see him, and the young lady doing things good for TV and sports.
Right. That's why I invited them because I know you into youth program years ago. That's where I started my youth development at Factory Cricket World, and you're time for youths in Antigua and Barbuda. So I'm excited as you are excited to tap in the studios. So I would like to introduce my guest, Miss Kelisha Antoine. And
good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing? I'm sure you introduce the young man next to you.
Well, the young man next to you is Wasna Barnard. He's a FIFA assistant referee, and I'm sure he can continue to speak on his own about himself.
Right. Yeah. So, Mr. Barnard, welcome to Sportsman Mandela. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm all right. Doing well.
Right, nice. Mm-hmm. Can you just tell the public about yourself, like when you got started, what intrigued you to be getting to refereeing and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I started in around 2011. Being a football player at the time,
right.
I decided I weighed the options. I was a goalkeeper at the last time, my last position, and I weighed the options of hurting yourself versus refereeing. So
that option I was going to.
That's always a question. But I was an average player, I would say.
Right.
Then I decided, let me try refereeing. I mean, I'm from Liberta, the village of Liberta.
Okay.
And at that time, Curtis Charles was, I think, more involved in referee at the time. Then I decided to go a few meetings at the time. Then after, I decided, hey, this is a good option, this is a good path. Then I set my goals and worked on them little by little.
Okay.
Yeah,
get that. Yes.
Okay.
You see, you're right at home.
I tell you what, it's Mackie, big body.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were talking about Mackie from Liberta.
When his dad came up from Cuba.
Right.
Small world, man.
Who said he was in Japan and get going.
Right.
Everybody that man.
Okay.
Right. See, you're home with family.
His grandfather tapping me right and so.
Oh, yeah. See, back on the family.
Nice,
so be comfortable.
Yes. Wow.
Okay.
And he said,
yeah.
You have to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So in terms of development path and stuff like that, what you have been doing to reach this level?
Right. So yeah, I started development basically internationally. What I want to explain is around 2017, after being in the refereeing for years, since 2011, they now chose me to go to a under 15 boys at the time, and then from there, some regional people and international people would watch you, see your capabilities. Then they will decide, are you FIFA qualified, FIFA standard or not? Right. So I had the opportunity to go to that under 20 boys. Then I went to the under 15 girls afterwards. So I went twice to show my talent and my ability. And then afterwards, I included some fitness, because a part of refereeing is fitness.
Right.
I passed the fitness test, and then I was recommended for the FIFA International Referee list. So those are some development parts. I mean, along the way we had courses. We had courses before, because now we have FIFA accredited courses in Antigua and Barbuda. So we had football courses. We call them RAP courses.
Right.
Where FIFA instructors would come and share different clips, different laws of the game. They go over all these things with the referees here in Antigua and Barbuda.
So it's basically you have a lot of theory and practical.
Right. So you have theory and practical.
Okay. Yes, get that in.
There was no blindness, man. There's no blindness, man. Trust me. You have to come into the referee with an open mind, and you have to work hard.
Right.
Because it's not just blind. You have to work hard. You have to let person see that, hey, he means to be what he wants to be, a referee or an assistant referee.
Right,
So,
correct.
yeah.
So basically, you have to make them see your worth.
Yes,
Right.
yes, and know your value.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And then drama involved in that too.
Yeah, I think John was a referee. So a couple of people live in Curtis, drama, and
Yeah,
Well, the
This
cricket
guy.
job, the cricket
Yeah.
guys, and more cricket guys too.
yeah.
Factory fellas, you know. So the cricket is really
Yeah.
and drama. Doing. So you're going to turn it down the referees.
No, man, I don't want to say liberal turn down the referees. But there are other people on the list at the time when I came into the organization. There was Brian Willett. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there was Brian Willett. He was a referee.
AKA strikes.
All right. There was also Kerry Skipple. He was also a
Right,
referee at
alright.
the time. You know, so being a youngster coming in, you have to look
Right.
for role models sometimes.
Right,
And
right,
then
right,
you decide, hey, if I mean human nature, you can say, hey, if he can be a referee, I can be a referee.
Correct,
so sometimes it happens, and even now I am a role model to a lot of youngsters
Right.
that's coming along. I for sure they look up to me to say, hey, Wasner's working
Right.
hard, and I would like to be a referee someday.
Right.
So anybody listening would like to be a referee someday, just come and try and join the football association, and you would definitely get courses done, develop yourself, and it's not today, tomorrow. It's like I have a dream kind of mentality, and
Right.
you work towards it, and you must achieve your goals.
I like that.
So what role Kalisha played in this thing?
Oh, of course, man. So Kelisha was I call her like a mother to me in terms of sports related. So I met her years ago, maybe I want to say in 2011, 2010. I can't remember the year, but she now came in. She was into refereeing already before me, and she.
Before I got stop it there, sorry to cut across, but she was in the goalkeeping before you because she said she would be a goalkeeper. I don't know how much goalkeeper she was. But a long time I want to touch. I was just waiting to ease in before I get to her. I know it just strange that you was goalkeeper and you went to refereeing. I know she was a goalkeeper for the national team, women's team. I went into refereeing, so I wonder if some connection there.
Well,
some silly.
Maybe there was a connection, but I also had the sentiment.
A spiritual connection.
I also had the sentiments where I did try it for under 15
Right.
national team at the time, and it was for goalkeeper role. I remember clearly, but then in Antigua, a lot of youngsters at the time, and
Right.
I really didn't get the pick. I mean, a lot of other reasons because I lived in Liberta,
Right.
and that the trials were in Cedar Grove. I clearly remember.
So transportation.
So transportation is an issue. Then you get discouraged because sometimes you have, I can say, favoritism in teams.
Right.
You have it every day, So then I didn't really push towards that type of, hey, I want that. So when the refereeing came along, I said, hey, this is what I want to try and do.
Right.
And I did it.
Okay.
So it was on the question where how Kelly should play towards my development. She was in association. She works hard. She's a physical instructor. So she understands her fitness and these methodologies well.
Right.
Coming back from Cuba, she was very well educated, and
Right.
she likes to push people. Trust me,
Right.
she pushes it to the max. People may call her wicked, but she really gets you to do work hard. That's all it is.
So she is AKA Teddy Arundel then when
Right.
it comes to refereeing and stuff. And that's what Teddy, actually call Teddy the Ayatollah when she was a factory cricket world.
I mean,
He's a no-nonsense guy.
Back then there was much structure in refereeing. I'm not afraid to say that there was
Right.
much structure, but she encourages people that, hey, this is exposure. She got an exposure too,
Right.
through a rap course. Some persons came in, she was attached to it, and they was very interested to see that this woman has a lot of structure, and they just gave her a chance,
Right.
shoot up. That's it.
But I heard in the couple earlier, they could get the right to go see the group. I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
Yeah, the mommy got daddy got.
Oh please, oh please. I mean,
That's some good to know. So they could make the team, man.
maybe we make the team. Maybe we make the team.
But like when I said earlier, because just there talk to a young sports guy. I understand what I used to do when I used to play cricket. Is I would look at that team and say, I'm better than that person there. And I'm gonna do my best to make sure I work the person out of the team. And I like that what you said a while ago, that you look at the referee pathway and say, hey, if you can do that, I can do that also. And I like that.
Talking about cricket, I started in cricket, in TCA, Technical Cricket Academy. That's where I first started, 3 or 4. Literally, young as that.
Where just do?
I was more a bowler.
Okay,
I was
bowler.
a batsman. Fast pace.
What?
Pace bowler.
Pace bowler.
My cricket stopped at St. Joseph Academy. And I captained some teams in St. Joseph Academy too. And it was another experience, like in football. When you reach a level,
Right.
I mean, I think cricket Parish League Antigua was a different kind of setup, you know.
Right.
The other persons being, as they say, maybe better than me.
Right.
You just discourage you to say, hey. And then refereeing came on at the same time and just shoot.
Also, but so in cricket, what most wicket ever get?
Oh, boy,
Since you're a big bowler.
I'm not a cricket fan, I'm a football fan.
The man says he's a big bowler.
Oh.
Fast bowler.
Yeah.
They say he's a big bowler.
Okay.
Big bowler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you're the captain, right?
Yeah.
That's something over as I know. I don't want to get the pick captain. I give a call that we're going to play the field. He give me first pick.
Yeah.
Because if you be captain,
You can't play. So Kelly, Antoine, I put you on the spot now. You know, when a young man say he was peeping my car, I know you have my question I wanted to ask you. But in terms of I know you started a goalkeeper. So what strive you to say, hey, I don't think I can be a professional goalkeeper, a professional soccer player, let me go to refereeing. What lead you to the change?
But it's not a case of just going into refereeing, but however, so I started on the wing sports club, Mr. Brumant, at Christ King High School. I was always a sport fanatic, so if you anything there is sport, you will see, you find me. It's track and field, football, basketball. Mr. Brumant will tell you that. And when football was first introduced at Christ King, I think I was in second or third form. I was the first time a team was introduced in Wing Sports Club at Christ King. And I thought that maybe I can play out, you know, score some goals and so on, because we used to get some beating at Christ King, okay? And with the first set of beatings, I said, no, I have to save this team. And I said, I going in the goal coach.
Okay.
I said, Mr. Boomer, I go in the team, okay, so I will do my best. And he said, okay, go ahead. So that's how I started, and then I continued training with wings, of course. Mr. Boomer has always been a role model to me, a father figure as well to me. So even after going after university, I can always call Mr. Boomer, I need to understand this and this. But I continued as a goalkeeper up to fifth form, going to university and so on, and I ended up playing for the Under 19 team, Antigua and Barbuda National Under 19 team. And while I was in university as well, I continued playing for the university team and was called up for the senior team as well from university. Yeah, and I just continued. I actually stopped playing football when I returned home in 2008. I played again for Wings, and I got re-injured myself. And in my mind, I'm saying, I'm coming from Cuba. I have a hospital in my university, so anything happen, I go straight to the hospital, rehabilitation, everything. And now I get injury again, then what I could do? So I just stopped that, but then I went into coaching. I was always still around Mr. Brumant and Wings, so everything for me was Wings, went into coaching there, and so on. And then I started teaching physical education and sport at Princess Margaret, and became the head of the physical ed department there. Develop programs and athletes there under Mr. Green. Everybody knows Dr. Colin Green and the good man, so one of the biggest supporters as well. So under Mr. Green, I continue to work there, build the PE program, build the sports program, everything, and then I was transferred to Antigua State College now to build the advanced level physical education sports program there. And how I got into the refereeing scene, before I left for university as well, while I was at Antigua State College, so I did 2 years of engineering, electrical and electronics engineering, and while I was there I went into refereeing. And like I always said, I saw it as an opportunity just to make a small cash while you're in school. Right? I mean, if you do one game and you get a $30, for me it was something.
Right.
I understand, right? So that's what I did. So I venture into it, and at the time there were only few women around refereeing at that time, just a few. And of course, you know the normal other person who you call Curtis Walsh, all them other guys were around and so on. Egan, who was over
Egan.
5 Ps, Noel Egan, and so on. And I continued from there. So while I was in university as well, they recognized, okay, she's a referee, so I would do a few matches there and so on. When I returned though, because I did a physical education and sports degree, I used to still be a part of them. So, you know, I would still be around WASNA, but I wasn't as active because I'm now starting to volunteer to work with clubs in terms of the field of fitness and so on to gain experience. So I had teaching experience in Cuba, I had rehabilitation experience in Cuba because it's all part of the degree.
Right.
And the sport, I actually specialize in weightlifting and weight training in Cuba. So when I came back now, I wanted to do all of that with clubs. So I started to volunteer and so on. And even while I was in university, when I would come home for the summer, I would volunteer for the under 15 teams and so on. I would be traveling. So I would just volunteer, give time, help out. You know, for me, it was a gain experience aspect. And I continued for about 2-3 years. I was still around the refereeing business and so on. And then I had an opportunity, I think it was 2011. No. Remember, I was volunteering, so it wasn't even small change anymore, because I wasn't, before I was getting the small change, no, I wasn't getting anything. So you can't really do it like that, but I was still going around assisting in the same physical aspect and so on. And I had the opportunity, I think it was 2011 or 2012, to do what we call, in FIFA they call it for 2 or 3 course, and it's courses to develop physical and technical instructors for refereeing. So I had the opportunity to do that here in Antigua, and I was the top of the class.
Excellent.
So the fitness instructor who FIFA had sent was Alan Brown, who is also now a mentor to me. He's from Costa Rica, and he was impressed in everything, so he kept recommending me. So about 2-3 years he recommended me to, continue to assist with the program here, but to get involved in the international program. In 2016 in 2012 they started a CFU program. So we had a group of technical instructors in the Caribbean and a group of fitness instructors. I was the lone female amongst them. Denmore himself was one of the technical instructors. And what they did was divided the Caribbean countries. So we were responsible for a group of countries, and we'd have to report into them every month.
Right.
And in 2016 now, I had the opportunity to attend an CONCACAF Olympic qualifiers to work with the women referees. And at that point in time, we're talking about top elite referees who were preparing for Olympics and the World Cup. So I did that, and then FIFA now invites me to a referee elite course, preparation for the World Cup referees. That I did not know until after that they were actually evaluating me here, but nobody told me that I was under evaluation. So later that year, 2016, FIFA then invited me to the under 17 World Cup in Jordan. That was another test, but of course I didn't know.
Well, you know the reason why they do that?
Because if I know, I probably phase out and all that.
Not only that, you want to make sure you're consistent.
And
like
you're still genuine and everything.
So basically, something like somebody auditing you, but you don't know.
Right.
So they want to make sure that what they see here is really that's the real person.
Right.
That's what happened.
So when I went at the end of the World Cup in 2016 in Jordan, I was told by the head at the time, you were invited because when the director of refereeing in FIFA saw you, he really liked you. He said, this young person, energetic, she knows what she's doing, the referees love her, everything, so we need her around. Right. So in 2017, remember I went through that year of testing in 2016.
Correct, yes.
2017, FIFA now invited me to be a part of their elite instructors group.
Right.
And that's when I attended my first FIFA instructors course. So they call that the Master Futura course, because that's where they have all the top instructors in the world meet at one point. We trash out everything in terms of teaching material, we gather everything, and we break down everything so that when we go out to work with all the other member associations now, that's how it goes. Right, everybody's on the same level, same page, everything. So from there, 2017, I've been placed with a group of World Cup referees now that I monitor. And 2018, I was now appointed again to the under 20 Women's World Cup. And in 2019, I was appointed to the Women's Senior World Cup in France.
And that speaks volumes. Say that you're been very consistent. So you speak volumes of your stuff. I'm very good friends, but you speak volumes of what you have been doing.
So within the 3-4 year period, I've already been to 3 World Cups, 2 Junior World Cup and a Senior World Cup.
For somebody from a small island, that speaks.
And that's how you would have seen, because I would have sent you something of normally when you go to these events and so on, it's not Kelisha, it's Kelisha Antwine from Antigua and Barbuda, and they write Antigua and Barbuda on it. So anything you're getting, you're seeing Antigua and Barbuda. And when you see Antigua and Barbuda against USA or Poland or Spain and so on, you think,
I'm happy to touch on that. I hope the listeners are listening. I hope the Minister of Sports is listening also, because I'm very serious about passionate about sports. Any sports, I love sports. But you don't take it lightly, because she's an ambassador. Whether she's not giving the name now, she's an ambassador of Antigua Barbuda. When you see the name Antigua Barbuda, small dot and the map, come against Switzerland, you all that stuff, it speaks volumes. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So you're ambassador.
Yeah, and that's how I see myself, okay? That whether it is in school or working with the referees, I believe that my vocation is serve, and oftentimes we talk about serving and religion, and it's a four wall.
Right.
For me, it's outside of the four walls, and using sport as a ministry, you know? Even in my class, even in teaching, I have students who are now studying sports psychology, sports physiology, exercise physiology, and they send back, Miss, you have to help me, this. What do you think? I need you to do this to me. Okay, and so you get that joy when your students say, I am going into this because I want to be like you. I have told them, oh my God, they call all it. I could be a FIFA instructor too.
Right.
So you need to help me with this, and this. Okay, no problem. And even the referees. We call the referees the third team on the field. And my job is to support the referees to get them in the best condition as possible, because you have 11v11, but you have 4 referees.
Right.
What is that saying? You have a 4th official, yes. You have 2 assistants, yes, but there's 1 central referee. That 1 central referee has to man 22 person and has to go here, there, and everywhere. So their fitness level must be same or even better than the other teams and them. That's my job. My job is to help you to be at your best, and once you're at your best, I'm satisfied, because when you see Manny and all them other people and so on, you jump up, and I would say, hey, I know that referee, I know Stephanie Frappard, I know Carol and Shinard, I know, I'm big, I know the referee, I can say I work with them. So all those female referees who are now going to the men's World Cup, because I know 4 female have been appointed to the men's, I am happy to say, hey, I have worked with them. They're people I talk to, and nobody more proud than me right now. I know everybody who work in the women program in FIFA, of these women who are going proud, but I can say the same, because I can say I have worked with them. We have worked together. I've seen ups, downs. We all laugh together, cry joy and everything. Now they are role models for other young referees coming up, because they are the first set of women going to the men's World Cup. And that's something to be happy about. And it's the same way I am when you see, he knows, because I've been at tournament with him and others where I can't watch the game.
She said she don't watch the game.
Why can't you?
Because
Can't remember your mistakes.
exactly. You watch the game. No, it's not confidence. No, you watch the game and everything, but you're like, you just want them to do their best all the time. So you're not taking notes and everything. You find the same country, you want them to do their best all the time, because it's a case sometimes where when we have to go into a room to decide whoever, I know I have to exclude myself because
it's included.
You're from Antigua.
Right.
But I willingly exclude myself. Yeah, you can use that term. But I willingly excuse myself because I want for it to be transparent and fair.
Right.
Now, when they go and perform, then okay, I don't need to say anything, because they perform and speak for themselves.
Right.
Check. So when you see them on the TV performing, you want to watch the game, they say, hey, whatever. But what is wild now, I Roots, Ken or Kevin, and even now Nikisha, who just made onto the list this year and doing an excellent job. When you see them, you're happy, because they're representing Antigua. They're making all of us proud. They're making the referee fraternity proud. They're making the ABFA proud, and they're just doing what they have to do.
So how much Antigua now is on that FIFA list?
So we have Wasna, Kevin Peters, Iwoods Appleton. Iwoods is actually presently at the CONCACAF Under-20 Championships.
Okay.
And Nikisha Gage, she's for the female. She just went on to the list this year. And we have a CONCACAF badge official who is Ken Pennyfeather. And we say CONCACAF badge. That's one step going up to FIFA. So he has been on the evaluation the entire this year. So far he's getting up there. So hopefully next year, hope God everything that he will now gain FIFA badge international list. And of course, we continue development with other persons going on to under 14s and so on to give them the opportunity to do.
So what you're watching, was a watching criticize them?
No, I watch now. I stomach now. You get to a point now where you can watch them and you shout, oh, it's a foolishness you do because you know you check nothing to do whatever, but you can watch now. But
Because you want the best for them.
but you know, sometimes you have a child that's involved in sport and you can't really watch the child. You have to just try to bring yourself. So you eventually have to get to that point.
What I can say about my coach there, I know he sometimes watch our game, but most of the time he don't watch the game. But he can know how I get out, how this person get out, because he knows so well. So we don't even need there. He can say exactly what happened. I don't know how he do it, but because he know the player so well.
But
You know?
I want to talk to the sons of one because there's an unsung hero here. A guy named Lucas Oguman.
Yeah,
A special guy.
yeah.
Salmon was supposed to get
Right.
1977. I tell you what, he was the one who went to the bank with me and actually get his ACB Parish League sponsorship.
So you know, the first time I went away to play any sort of sport was with Mr. Brewman, Wing
Right.
Sports Club. Third farm again, World Youth Basketball Festival, just the two of us. And when I say two of us, I mean Mr. Brewman, myself, and another colleague, Dahima. And it was just the three of us going. And he said, we don't know how we're going to play, but we're going to get on some teams and play and get experience. Because we're excited to go to the US and play basketball with a 3-month visa and so on. And I remember clearly in fifth form as well, we had to do a project on what we want to do in life and so on. And I always knew I wanted to go into physical education and sport and physiotherapy or engineering. So who was going to be my mentor? I said, Mr. Bowman, you will be my mentor now. I know people laughing at me because at that point in time, physical education was nothing. At that point in time, physical education, I mean, in 1999, physical education was just, okay, just go to school, have somebody run up and down, you know, not really have people studying a whole degree in physical education. But still, I said, Mr. Bowman, you will be my mentor. And then after I did the 2 years of engineering and I had the opportunity to go to Cuba. I said, okay, I done fulfill one part of engineering, so I can go after the first one now, which is studying physical education and sport. And even then, Mr. Bowman used to always still email, check on me, everything all right, you need help with everything and so on. If I had projects that I needed help in or something, like probably a sociology project or whatever, I was always able to call Mr. Bowman and do anything. And even now, he still call me, Kalisha, you're all right, Mr. Boomer, you need anything, you know. Yeah.
He was not supposed to get, he was a basketball man.
Yeah.
Even if they got it, and
ABA, right.
basketball, so he was like president and I got it.
Yeah. Are you still active in Wings right now?
Yeah,
Still
very active.
So maybe they,
Yeah,
Yeah.
still in Wings up to this night.
Very active.
Yeah. Well, here touched on something about you in charge of weightlifting and all kind of stuff.
No, I'm not in charge.
Right.
I said my specialty sport was Olympic weightlifting. And
Well, you know why I
weight
asked, you know why I want to touch on that, because here, after when I see that job, I look at my friend here, like I look at that chest and all kind of thing.
No.
Like he wants some more beef, so we go on the field.
training. Eat beef, it depends.
Say, we're going to field, make a call, and everybody try to think.
But that's why he's an assistant. He stays on the touch line. You know, just like in any sport, you have characteristics you're looking for. It's the same thing in refereeing.
Right.
You need to look like an athlete, and right now, just as he is, it's okay. Maybe he can probably put
No, I'm saying, sometimes you have some aggressive players.
No, but aggression though, there.
When you see the size of the man, like you think twice.
That doesn't phase a player anyway.
Okay.
That's why referees need to. No.
You have to know to manage your players.
Yeah, management. You have to teach referees how to manage personalities and how to. Because if you look at the referee committee chairman for FIFA himself, Pierluigi, the top referee in history. He's a slim man and everything, but he has a different person. His eyes speaks for himself.
Okay.
So you know the speaker. Yeah.
something else crazy.
What's that?
I did FIFA training football together.
Okay.
The man in the finals, the World Cup came and the trainers.
Which one? The World Cup.
I think it's 78.
Okay.
That's before you to make weight from
It's great. But what I want to find out here, what did difference between assistant referee
Right.
and
Well, before time, they used to call them linesman.
yeah.
So their duty, their duty before time was just probably to say ball in, ball out, offside, right? Now, the whole development and evolution of the game and everything, everybody, a referee, assistant referee, must know the laws of the game inside out. What's a foul, what's not a foul, what is penalty, what is everything. Because part of the evaluation and the assessor's report is teamwork.
Okay.
He or an assistant referee should be able to identify a foul as well and call it in case the referee doesn't see it. Oftentimes they use headphones, so you might hear a referee speak first before call, and also should be able to determine if it's a careless, reckless, or excessive force, if it's a red card or yellow card, and then should be able to say to the referee, if he needs to give advice, hey, I see a yellow card or not. Now, if they don't know that, then they can assist the referee. But the whole essential point of the assistant referee, the management of the game and so on, and guess what's not going to jump in here, comes from the referee. Assistant referee, as it says, assist. But they have their duties as well. Offsides, ball in and out of play, goal kick, corner kick, all these things.
I tell you, if a referee, don't be a great referee.
Right.
I can't help the guy. No, it's important that it's important the linesman, like we've seen a linesman, know the rules. But what happens in my time that people went by and the linesman, but you have to do all the work.
Right.
And sometimes the linesman gets some bad call or something. So you let the play go on, you know what I mean? So, but when I guess it still happens. The assistant referee makes a call, the official referee can see the call, the game.
So it depends.
Okay.
It depends. So if, for example, the AR calls an offside, but the ball, essentially it is an offside, but the ball goes on to the goalkeeper, has the ball, and the referee can simply say, thank you, I see you, but it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
And
There's no loss or anything between that guy.
And while we're on that topic, it's like, communication, teamwork. So knowing what you have to do as an assistant referee, you have to now develop yourself to see, hey, the next phase of play is going to be go to the goalkeeper. So a matured assistant referee would see it before it happens to avoid the referee saying, hey, thank you. And with communication, we can say, hey, let me just wait and see. It's a wait and see technique. So now you can differentiate a beginner from an intermediate and a top world-class referee.
Right.
Those are just small things that really make you a different.
Set you apart.
So how does one get to be a referee now?
Okay, so
That's a good question. 'Cause you don't want me here all the time. You want to go.
no, but you need AR. That's the thing. You need that.
Yeah, I know. But sometimes let's say he wants to play, he want to be.
No. If he chooses if he decides that he wants to become a referee, no, he's going to have to come off the list for a good 2 years and then go on the re-evaluation again.
Oh, okay.
That's why you differentiate. But in Antigua, how do we become a referee? Of course, we try to get young people involved. Oftentimes, we're going to try to have, under the referee department, try to have courses and invite people to come and do courses, as in recruit courses or accredited initial courses. After you get into the system, there are a certain amount of games you must do, certain amount of that must be assessed. Right. Of course, there's fitness tests involved, and you just continue to go up the grade. But like in any country or anywhere, of course, you might see talented people. Once you see talented people, what you do? You just take them another ahead, right?
Correct.
Another level. And you, of course, they continue to assess regionally. When I say regionally, within the CFU realms, in terms of the CFU under 14s championships and so on. So I'm going to draw an example from last year. The same Ken Pennyfeather, his first appointment was at CFU under 14 last year. That's where he was seen. And then it went on to say, hey, this guy have the talent. I think we can groom him to become a FIFA referee. So now from there, he would continue to go up to a CONCACAF championship. But because within the last 2 years of COVID and everything, there were no championships or anything of that sort. Happily, when CFU brought back the youth 14s last year, the Caribbean were able to send a few officials to these to that particular tournament, and they were able to be assessed, evaluated by myself and other persons. And from the group of persons actually who we would have seen from that tournament, 14 persons became FIFA this year.
Okay.
And so what has been developed right now in CFU is what we call a next gen group. So coming up next month, you have a next generation course.
Right.
So this is like an academy now within CFU that we know grooming now
That's
to
it,
just
continue
branch
flow.
out, continue
Continue flow.
all the time. Yeah. And then those persons who are going to that course will now attend the same U14s this year again,
Right.
and other persons will send the U14s again.
Right, so
So
that's-
some will now graduate to FIFA next year, hopefully, but now we bring in new people
Right,
into that
right,
academy
right.
as well.
So tell us something. FIFA still has an age limit at World Cup, so like 45.
They're still, if you want to say 45, whatever, but
45, I think.
still the same. But if you
Why you answer that, like, it's important to get referee at early age.
at early age.
Yeah.
But if somebody comes into the system at 35, 40 right now, and you can see that they're legitimately fit and they want to do it, you don't run them, but they do know that they can't get to that next level. But somebody who's coming in at 17, 18, 19, you know, you have a good 4, 5, 6 years to work with them
Right.
locally before they can start branch out into any sort of regional or international, because it's 23 and 25 to get on the list. AR 23, referees 25, and so on.
I think that's why I was pressing. I know the age, that
Yeah.
stuff. So the earlier you get into the referee business,
It's better for you.
the more opportunity you have to have chances you have to get to even referee a World Cup game. I get to at the World Cup.
To get to a World Cup game is like a Usain Bolt 4-year cycle
Right.
of training and understanding that that's what you're aiming for, and it's not just physical, but it's physical,
Mental.
technical, mental, emotional
Because
training.
when you look at that's a real stage on
Yeah.
now, so everything have to be
You
in
are
sequence.
a referee, an elite referee, an
Yeah.
athlete.
Exactly.
There are persons in the world who are paid to just referee.
Yeah.
That is your job. So if that is your job, you have to go and train every day. You have to do everything that is
Yeah.
required of you.
Kind of similar to cricket where you have the elite umpire list.
Right.
Those guys have to be a certain fitness level and stuff. They have to go to the gym. They have a pro when they give them and stuff, and they evaluate them from time to time.
Yeah.
Because when you go there, make sound decision. Because that decision can cause a country
Exactly.
or World Cup or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a foolish question. I don't know. What are the chances of some like
Was not?
like Barnards getting to like say EPL or say Premier League?
That is something though that we may probably have to branch into like an agreement with the league itself,
Oh.
like Antigua and Barbuda, the league itself. If you ask what's the possibility of first him getting to a Gold Cup, which is the CONCACAF elite tournament, that's high. Possibility of getting to a World Cup, it's high. But he has to decide it's going to work, and then start putting out all, when CONCACAF has all these different courses and so on, and they pick him in the pool, for example, I-Roots was in the Gold Cup pool for last year, so he attended the Gold Cup. He was at the Gold Cup. So in CONCACAF there are tiers, so the referees are tiered. And so it's just a system that gets you to the top level.
I was thinking there's so many leagues around the world.
But with these other leagues, I guess you just have to try to enter memorandum of understanding, or probably know somebody, try to invite them to be a part, and them sort of stuff and so on.
Scott.
Like you said earlier, referee is a job.
Yeah.
When you're going to get to the big stage, it's a big job.
Yeah.
Well paid.
I think Ty was saying, cause let's say I'm EPL and I see Mr. Barnard and I want to say, I'm impressed with that team. I like to give him a little gingo. Yep, they first
Well,
have
if
to
the
come
EPL wants him,
They have to come to FIFA, come to
no,
Euro or
not
something.
necessarily. Not necessarily. It's like, so the associations on the FIFA is called member associations. The FIFA. So you have England would have their member association, which is their league and so on,
Right.
right? So they can write the
Okay.
ABFA and say, well, we saw this person, we like for him to do whatever. Or probably if it's somebody who personally knows me or something, they can say
Right.
whatever, and then I will take it through the correct channels to
Channels.
ensure that everything is legit
Right.
and so on.
Yeah.
It's important, because, like I say, soccer is a big business. big money business. So, if opportunity, so let's say suppose a assistant referee, like say, at a World Cup stage. So the whole world is seeing him. That would be the opportunity for him too.
Well, let's hope and see what happens. We can get a few of them. We have an instructor and we have Curtis who would have been on the World Cup stage one time. So let's hope we can get a few more in the future.
So Barnard, you see yourself on the World Cup stage one day?
My first World Cup stage was actually a World Cup qualifiers. I
Okay.
mean, as smart as maybe,
Yeah.
it's a
Right.
World Cup stage.
Right.
So for me, I always say consistency. That is what I like to go off of. So when you get an opportunity to go outside,
Right.
or well, when I say go outside, go on the international level, you be consistent. So now the FIFA instructors will always remember this young man from Antigua and Barbuda is consistent. So my World Cup stage I could remember was Guatemala, Cuba. Who
Right.
would have imagined,
Right.
going to a World Cup qualifiers? What I would never imagine doing at that time,
Right.
because it was my third year on the list. I think it was the last year.
Okay.
My third year on the list, I got a chance, and I go and I put it out. I was consistent, and I did what I have to do. So now I always dream to go to the top level, World Cup, right? But when I came into it and realized, hey, it's a lot of work. You have to take it step by step. So as she said, hey, Gold Cup, first chance. I mean, on your way to Gold Cup, you will see you have championships, as you say. So you go to the U20 championships, and then you move on from there, you go to the Gold Cup. It's just step up. But the key thing is to be consistent. Be consistent, so hey, when you get there, you're a quality person.
Right.
Right. So yes, World Cup qualifiers is a stage where I've reached the closest for me to a World Cup.
Right.
Is the World Cup qualifiers. I mean, a Gold Cup. I mean, my last game was Jamaica versus Mexico in the Nations League. So Nations League is a top CONCACAF, right? CONCACAF tournament. So now from there, you also want to be consistent, because it's from here they'll be looking at you and say, hey, he can be handled on next level of games.
Right.
And that's how it really goes.
Basically, that's the stepping stone to go to the next level.
It's all about stepping stone, and sometimes persons don't see behind the scenes.
Right.
Because remember I said 2011 I started. I also had a dream to say, hey, maybe World Cup. But when you get into it and you say, hey, man, it's a lot of work. So now, did I get deterred? No.
Right.
I worked hard, and I must thank Kelly Antoine for it, because she said, hey, she showed me a lot
Right.
in terms of fitness and these things, and I stuck to it. You have to stick to it. You can't want to say, hey, I'm tired, I'm not getting to where I want to go.
Right.
It's being humble and work on small things. It could be the smallest things. My last game, you get some I guess recommendations, you get assessment.
Right.
So you work on the small areas, and you to yourself say, hey, I have to work on this. So the next time I assess to see me, I'm going to fix this.
Right.
And then you get step up. Things sometimes are changing, so now we have to understand that refereeing is important, just as a team, football team, any sport. Refereeing is very important, and we have to make sure we focus on refereeing, develop refereeing. I would encourage young people to come into this, because it's a career at its best. It's a career. I mean, we are not like a USA or EPL, England,
Right.
where you have referees going to work, eat, sleep, and breathe refereeing.
Right,
We
right.
don't have it here in Antigua and Barbuda, or even in the Caribbean, we don't have it. But there are Caribbean officials that really work hard and are on the world stage today.
Right.
They're on the world stage today just because of hard work. And CONCACAF putting in the work and developing these persons step by step.
I
Yeah.
was telling someone, let's get to the joke. Like Felicia, I keep emphasizing fitness.
Right.
But we'll give you a joke about that now. I remember some years ago, not many years ago, I think in the 70s with Dan Johnson, I was coach, football coach. And then when a couple of guys said, the first day came to take over the team, it was 1 for 2 hours straight. They touched me. And at the end of the day, they said, coach, we didn't do no ball work. So he said to them, you have to go 90 minutes with football again, so you have to fit to 90 minutes. So, in the same thing I'm thinking, Kalisha, you have to fit to run 90, maybe I have extra time tomorrow.
Yeah, you have to run fit to run the extra time. But you see, in this case now, you won't tell them, because there's so many different aspects of development when it comes to fitness now. We're talking about agility and coordination, speed endurance, and strength and all these things now. It actually is a program you have to write
Develop.
within exactly for each month, but also pre-season, out-season, just as an athlete would do, and so on. So at that point in time, football was slow-paced game, so you can say run for 2 hours and just endurance.
Right.
Now when you have referees running 25 kilometers per hour because the players are running that, then now you have to develop other aspects: the speed, the endurance, the agility, the strength, and all these things and so on.
So when I said I was going to gym against Sean,
No, he's strong, man.
My experience of fitness was when I came in first, you thought they have a fitness test. And at a rap course, I thought as a youngster I could have run the test without any hassle, but I didn't complete the test. I didn't stop. That encouraged me to say, hey, I want to pass this test because I'm young. I thought I could have done it. I tapped out at maybe lap 7 or lap 8. Tapped out on the ground.
How you overcome that?
So now, I asked questions, I asked
Right.
Alicia about it, and I started to look at the aspect of fitness differently.
Right.
So now that test had more endurance capacity. So you build
Right.
endurance capacity. You start with the 12 minutes, the 8 minutes runs,
Right.
and you build endurance capacity. These are things that person I didn't know.
Right.
I honestly didn't know. But then when you see that that's a weak area, you work on it.
Right.
And then that gave you an opportunity to have a mentor. So it's not only fitness in terms of running, but you have to
Right.
set your mind now. And hey, this is what I have to do, and I will have to put myself in a position to be capable to run this test.
Well, I got it from you and listening to Kalisha. She's a hard taskmaster, but at the end of the day, and not that she's a hard taskmaster, but at the end of the day, you understand why she's a hard taskmaster because she wants
Everybody
perfection.
has
The bar has to be high.
She wants perfection on the market side. So when any product come from outer on the whole wings
Okay.
is a good product. So nobody have a second guess the product that comes from her. That's my
Her best pep talk in terms for me is go out and do your thing. She likes to say that.
Right.
Because as she said, she doesn't like to watch the game, so we say, hey, just do your thing.
Right.
You know, sometimes some persons say, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do
Right.
that. Do what you know. Do you know what you have to do? Do what you have to
Right.
do. That's it.
Yeah.
And you feel confident that somebody has that confidence. in you.
And that's
Just telling you 2 words.
That's the
Do what you have to do.
same thing I tell
Every time
my
you
World
tell
Cup
you do what you have
referees
to
too.
Yeah.
You know what you're supposed to do, just do what you have to do,
Right.
no pressure, no
So basically, she already did her part with you, so
Right.
she's best
Right. And she knows, she believes in you. So
Right.
and sometimes self-belief, it goes a long way.
Right.
If my trainer or my teacher, my
Right.
mentor
Right.
doesn't believe in me, that's already a negative there in that
Correct.
column. Then in your mind you're like, oh my.
You start second guess yourself, start out yourself, stuff like that.
And that's where the mental part of fitness comes in.
Right.
Because you could be the fittest person and you don't believe in you can do it. And you would
Correct.
never, you would always have that block.
Right,
Always have
right.
that block. Yeah.
That's good.
That's it.
But it's good that she pushing them hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not me alone, man. She gives everybody. Right.
Right.
You flex on her ability to get things done properly, and then at the same time, FIFA,
Right.
she's producing good people.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
And what I like too, the consistency that's important. In sports, consistency is very important because sometimes somebody come good today, and then I'll come good to the next 3-4 games and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's not a true stuff. And also I like to, without the officials, you can have football matches. If we don't have cricket games, without the umpires and stuff, you can have games. So it's important that you encourage youngsters to get involved and stuff like that.
So, I gotta get the other guys. I remember when I used to play Leo like that's cricket, regional cricket. I always tell myself, I don't give away play. So
Right.
that we don't play.
Yeah.
I don't give away play.
Right.
So I don't play good, I believe I give away.
Right.
That's the most important. So when you have confidence in the official, it says a lot.
Right. And what he does to speak volume to the tournament too, because he does something to the tournament. You know, why you say, hey, that boys they're joking. It's an amateur tournament because the official is so poor.
I just so in France this year there's a tournament in France they call the Maurice Reveille tournament, and normally it's an under 23 tournament. So those guys, for the first time they introduced women referees doing that entire tournament
Right.
to help preparation for, and people were so impressed of how strong mentally, physically, emotionally the women referees are.
Right.
But it speaks of the volume of training that they must go through, because they understand the standard to be at the top level. If you're a World Cup candidate, you must be at top level.
Right.
So when those women went out on the field and they were keeping up with them young men, or they were making the correct decisions, or they were doing what they were supposed to, people say, oh, women, yes,
Right.
doing on 3 men's game. That's why I said now that women can now go to the men's World Cup, get the games done, and there's no issue. And one thing we tend to see, I guess was not going to test that, we have, when the women are doing the men's matches, you tend to find a bit more respect from the men.
Okay.
Because he would have done a semi-finals with a semi-finals in Caribbean Championships the other day, and his team was a female assistant and a female referee.
Okay.
And the game went smoothly, nicely, control, everything. And then after that, you see all the men go, hey, ref, good game. They probably won't do that with the guy, but you know. They go,
She make him still joke.
actually cut a clip. We actually cut a clip of it because the referee Katia from the US said she did excellent. So the guys went up to her, and then we just saw the guy did this to the guy. It wasn't and them, yeah. So I said, so when the coaches work with their teams, my team is a referee team, and I know that's where I can put out myself to do. So just like the coach will stay 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours for his team, then that's what we do, as in 3, 4, 5, 6 hours for the referees to be at their best, because that's my team. That's who reflects me. That's what I do. So when they go out and, as I said, to all of them, not just them here, but even on the world stage, hey, you have a game today. You're supposed to do, just go do your best. That's it.
But how challenging is it for you though? Because I know it's not only local guys you support the regional guys in this thing. How challenging that you find that for you? Well, you have to write different programs and all kind of stuff. Yeah, each referee, I'm sure you have to do. So
normally what we do is generic programs, and in each MA they would have instructors as well who would communicate with us. So the instructors in the MAs, and sometimes we have to work directly with the referee. With the generic program now, the program has to be modified according to the referee's weaknesses or strength, but the amount of games that they have in the week. Because there's certain aspects of training you cannot do depending on when you have matches. For example, if you have a match today, then yesterday, which would have been Friday, you do match preparation. Match preparation involves speed work, short speed acceleration for activation purposes. But then you have high intensity, which is anaerobic level, which you try to get your heart rate up to between 86 to 93% of your heart rate max. That's very taxing on the body. So you would not do that on a match day -1, which is a day before the match. But you can go to a match day -3 or -4 to do that, and you start taper down and get preparation for the match as well. So those are all these informations we have to know in order to set training plans on the world stage, particularly for the referees. We have to know who have match here, when, and decide, okay, which referee is doing here, or what this referee is doing there, and so on. But within the Caribbean itself, regionally, what we do, myself and Alan Brown, we create a generic program, and then we send it out, and then we now need to modify according to the referees that need certain assistance and so on.
I like that thing where talk with the heart rate and stuff, because I know if in Antigua these guys that coach cricket, football, would have known this guy. To me, like, I don't know, when looking at it outside, like, every day is just one set of training. Let's say I have a game tomorrow, I'm still training the same way I train Monday and Tuesday, and that shouldn't be. From what she's saying there, which makes sense to me. I'm not an expert now, but I like to just listen to things and see what makes common sense. So, those kind of information, you share that, you have filtered that down to clubs here and things and stuff?
Well, I don't necessarily work with clubs, but if I'm working, but if I'm working, of course, because I don't only work with referees. There are other athletes that I may have to do massage therapy with and so on, and seek other advices and so on. But they would know, because I tend to teach them all of this, that understanding your heart rate, especially the FIFA ones, and go out and your watch might not be set, because we monitor them to the correct, and then you might realize you're in a zone that you should not have been in, and automatically you think, hey, your fitness level. But when you check it now, there's incorrect information in the watch where your pulse, your beats per minute max is not correct, and once that is off, then it triggers off everything wrong. Because if your BPM is supposed to be at 180, 190, and you have it at 170, it simply means you're going to go up into a high intensity zone even before you're not supposed to be there, and so on. And that's how we monitor everything. So you have to look on the light intensity based on your heart rate, medium intensity based on your heart rate, high intensity, and then we look at speed max, agility and coordination, the ability to change direction as less time as possible, and all these things. And then we have to combine all of these things into the training plan for the entire month. Yes, there are referees or athletes have weaknesses, for example, in agility and coordination. Then we may have to apply that 2 times a week, but cannot neglect the other aspect of, because it's very important to get in one training of high intensity. But then it all depends as well on the amount of game a person has per week. Because if you have 3 games, 2 games, there's no way you can get in the HI session because of how things are planned out. So we have to look at all that scientific.
About the magic.
All them science aspect of it as well. Plus we have to think about recovery of the referee. What are we doing for recovery? You need to go to massaging, you need to go to the pool to relax, you need to do this, and then we have to think about other aspects. And that's how we work it.
I know Tariq, that's what I'm saying. She's a good resource person in terms of athletes in Antigua. Not only referees, but athletes in general, because I show a lot of athletes in terms of the training which you mentioned about the heart thing. That's really important because these days a lot of athletes now is just falling down by heart attack and all kind of stuff. You have to ask what kind of training they're doing and what they're doing wrong.
I have great respect for referees. Football officials, you know, I didn't understand all this intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I have great respect for them. No.
So when people see referees on the sideline, I have a young 17-year-old yesterday did an under 15 match, right? And there were some people in the stands, you know, arguing, that's an offside, that's an diff. And you know, somebody that was sitting who is also a referee, she said, well, were you there? Were you in line? Are you in line to see whether it's offside or not? And I said no. But no, that's all right. Just like how you may have to learn to kick the ball, he have to learn to understand what we do. If we don't put him in them small games, he wouldn't know.
Exactly.
You understand?
Got experience and maturity.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. That we get the training, the experience over there, and the criticism.
Yeah, but that's another thing I had to tell him though too. Listen, when you're there, the criticism is going to come, filter it, but use it also to get you stronger.
Call it the pressure cooker.
Right, pressure cooker.
When you go on the field as a pressure cooker, the fans just at you.
Because you already made a decision you want to be a referee, so no problem. You will get the cussing, you will get everything you can. Referee, wrong call, this, that, whatever. You just go, that's what's going to make you stronger. That's helping you to build yourself psychologically.
But that's just sports, because the same person that cost it to them, the same person which you play. That's just sports. You know what I'm saying? Because by the time I was in Trinidad playing a game for Leeds, and I forgot R19, and the guy was to the east. Never forgot we're playing against Barbados. And the guy say, Richards, I've got a ball then, he will kill you today, and no problem. And then next thing I'm playing a guy I know, and I asked him one named Nandu, and he was bowling me, and Nandu 2-6. And the guy saying guy cost me yesterday, say, Nandu, which is going to kill you today. So I learned that from playing sports that you can ask people to criticize you, but I can just say it's how you filter that criticism. I can use the best of your advantage. And criticism is good, can give you an assessment where you're at and where you need to go. So it's very important, you know? Yeah, so are we talking here? I know, keep the guys. I know. I'm going overtime. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm glad to have a conversation.
Yeah, so I love you guys ready to leave?
No, you can go ahead.
That's why I make sure we not play it over the top. But but Mr. Barra, tell us in terms of your next tournament. You say is when the next tournament?
I'm not sure when my next one will be, but you have to always be ready for your next appointment.
Right.
As she was saying just shortly a while ago, you have to. It's like an annual cycle. If you make up your mind you want to be this athlete, this referee athlete, you have to know what the do's and the don'ts. I mean, you have your own lifestyle, to your sociable lifestyle, but you have to know when to. I mean, I want to use the example of drinking.
Right.
You know, you have to know when.
Well, you drink water, right?
So that was a learning point for me. When you're a youngster, sometimes you feel like, okay, maybe alcohol is good, but it's not good for your nutrition part of your fitness.
Right.
It slows you down. You restart your whole cycle.
Right.
So you have to understand the do's and the don'ts, stuff like that. The recovery, how important a massage is to help your recovery. It's very important, and you have to understand that as an athlete.
But I like that part there where you say about the alcohol business and stuff like that. Because a lot of youngsters out there, you know, think that they can drink the beer and stuff and they go to play a game and next thing they're stressed out, burn up and all kind of stuff and it's like, boy, be tired, but they understand the importance of what you're saying. So that's why it's so important that you guys share these knowledge as you get the opportunity to speak to athletes or the guys share that knowledge.
You have to learn from Mr. Antoine. When you learn it, you just make it a habitual.
Right.
It comes as if you're walking or driving a car.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely.
You better there?
Okay.
Nutrition is important. That's what you need to know.
Especially in sports, because sports have advanced so much now. It's like you have to know how to manage your body and stuff like that.
Right, and that's part of what we teach as well on these rap courses where he has been talking about. Just like the technical instructors have topics they have to cover. The fitness instructor have topics and so on that they must cover as well with the field events, and that's something we try to cover as often as possible understanding training, the importance of training, the principles of training, nutrition, how you eat, why you eat,
Right.
when you eat,
What to eat?
and what to eat.
When you do.
Huh?
When you do.
No, it's important.
When,
It's
because it
important.
depends. If you're having a match today, you have to now time yourself, your timing of the match. At what 2-hour period before your match, 3 hours period before your match, what you're going to eat, because at that point in time you don't want to consume fats and certain things, even bulk protein you don't want to, but what you're looking for now is that first source of energy, carbohydrates, and so on, and not just simple sugar, you want the complex carbs, the potatoes and so on. So all these things now, you have to teach carb loading. I know the night before fitness test.
Man, can you spend the up your loading? Do the locals get free go to all these things too?
Yeah, they go through all that training and so on. They go through all that training and so on.
Baron,
What's up, man?
good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm excellent. Have some superstar in the house with me, so I'm excellent. Getting a lot of knowledge here from these guys.
Ah, that's good. That's good. You never stop learning, man.
Every week I will get to line with you, especially Kalisha.
He knows me very well.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Right?
You know Kelisha, right?
Yes, I do. These are professional people, man.
That's what I'm saying. Tell us what happened later at player basketball court.
Well, we have with us in Antigua right now. You can call him a son of the soil. His parents are from here in Antigua. Mr. Speedy Fraser, a past professional player in Europe, now a college coach and a professional player development person. And he's here. We had our first session last night.
Right.
With about 40-something young, dynamic youths from Antigua, from the ages of 12 to the oldest person I think was 23 years old. So we're very excited. I've been involved with basketball for many years, as you know, Earl.
Right.
And to be honest, I think it's the best training, coaching session I've ever been a part of. So these young people are lucky to have somebody of his expertise here in Antigua. He has a very good resume. He has coached some of the top players and personally trained some of the top players in the NBA. And we are so delighted for him to be here and partnering with What Are the Elite to pull off this exposure camp. We also have a recruiter. He's originally from Trinidad but resides in the US at this time. But what his emphasis is right now is to get Caribbean athletes into academies and professional contracts, not only in Europe but around the world. So he's here with us as well too, and assisting with the coaching and doing what a recruiter does, which is to identify talent that can go further.
Right.
Actually, I know Wings has a coach here. Recently too.
Speezy,
Yeah, I know Speezy, yeah. So Wings and I are trying to get things going too along the line.
I'm not picking up what Todd is saying.
You said Wings part of the coach you just said it too. Coach Speezy. He goes a long way back with you.
I think we say Wings brought your coach recently. Wings.
Wings, yeah. That's Coach Spazer, who is our past national coach. So he's doing something with the Wings group as well too.
So basketball making strides. That's what I noticed.
He's making strides, and I say the more people play the game, the better it's going to be for the nation on a whole, because we are able then now to choose out the cream of the crop, basically, to represent the country. And as I say, the main thing we want is to get these kids an opportunity to play basketball, whether it's at the collegiate level or professionally.
You know, Kelisha used to play basketball, right? You know, Kelisha used to play basketball.
I want to answer that question if she was good or bad.
What's that?
I said I won't answer that question if she was good or bad.
Okay.
I think I see my two coaches online also, Earl. So if you want, you can bring them in.
Down the line?
Cool. Yeah, down the line as well.
Okay, cool. Well, good way. Let them introduce themselves and say what.
You guys can take your mics off. Again, that's Coach. I'm joining a moment there. Jonathan Weeks. That's Coach Jonathan Weeks. And Coach Speedy Freezer. Right. So I would allow you guys to give a little bit about your resume, who are you and why you're here in Antigua, etc., etc.
Hi, good day.
Good morning, man. Welcome to Antigua.
Thank you. Actually, this is my second time here. Byron had me here in 2015, 14, I think, for the same exposure camp to see some talent. And it's been a great time. I've seen a lot of talent so far. I'm excited. These kids have natural ability, natural athleticism, and they're great kids. They're quick learners, and I'm excited. I coach at a private high school right now at 4 Avenues, the Restream, and right now our school's trying to open up recruiting and stuff like that. So I'm looking for high school kids, and also I'll help kids in Europe to get to Europe and stuff like that, in academies and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see the talent again today, and I think we may have some opportunities for some of these kids.
Okay, and next coach. What's up?
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Yourself?
Welcome to Antigua, man.
Thank you, but it's not my first time. I used to come for Carnival every summer when I was small, and I still have an Antiguan passport, so consider me one of your own.
Cool.
But no, Coach Speedy, my real name is Jamel Fraser, but everyone calls me Coach Speedy. I was born and raised in the Bronx. My mom's side of the family is from Antigua. Really excited and happy to be here. Byron has done an unbelievable job in terms of focusing on the youth and trying to provide opportunities, whether it be prep school, whether it be academy, another country, scholarships, college scholarships, junior college route, Division I, Division II. I mean, he's really serious, and I think that's important when we put our youth first and we come together and work collectively as a team. It's not about us, it's about them. There's a lot of talent here. There's always been a lot of talent here in Antigua, and we have to provide an experience like this where Jonathan and I are sort of the bridges, and again, we can get guys and girls opportunities which it can take them far. Some of these student athletes or players have the abilities to be future pros, and you don't want to have them work hard and put the work in and just nothing comes out of it.
True.
My mom always said opportunities lost sometimes are never once regained. And so we're here. Today's day 2. Day 1 was great. On day 2, we'll do some more evaluating, some more drills, and then tomorrow will be the actual showcase where players will be performing at a high level, and Jonathan and I will have our pen and pad out, taking notes. We want the fans and all the people to come out. We want it jam-packed. We'll have guest speakers, and Byron will go over that, who will be there. There will be food, music. This is really, really, really a great event.
What time does it start tomorrow?
It begins at 5 p.m. At the JSC. I'll say we're gonna have a great time, and this is about just showcasing our youth and our talent that we have here in Antigua. Nature Kid, of course, a lot of you will know Nature Kid. He's gonna be performing for the young people. Again, it's just about celebrating youth. Young Phenom, which is another dynamic young artist in Antigua. He's also going to be performing with a mic. We're going to have Humroy. He's going to give a motivational speech. just to encourage the young people just to stay focused, stay positive, keep away from these vices that can destroy your lives and the lives of your community. So it's just going to be an exciting time. We're going to have a pastor who's going to give us a blessing on the athletes, and I mean, keeping their mind just on positive things. And that's what we're all about. We want to develop the minds and the lives of young people in Antigua, and we know when we do that, our country is going to benefit, our community is going to benefit, our homes are going to benefit. Antigua and Barbuda and the Caribbean on a whole is going to benefit because of these things.
Where is it, Byron? If it possibly exists tomorrow,
I can't hear you, Tally.
Put the mic close in mouth.
if it exists, if there are the possibility exists tomorrow, we can come and shoot it live for you.
Repeat that to me, Tally.
What is it? You want to come and do the show live tomorrow for you? Put your live so everybody can
Yeah, man, come through, man. Come through. We want as much people to be in the park tomorrow. I say yesterday we saw some highlights for some of the athletes, some raw athletes. These guys want to jump out to the park and be like, what was that? You know, and I want people to see what we have here in Antigua.
Right.
Some of the overseas, a few of the overseas guys are here right now. Come and see what we have out there.
Right.
And they're here right now in Antigua.
But we go live on CTV channel 8 too, you know.
That's fine, man. That's fine. The more audience, the better.
So you can tell them now, nigga, CTV carried it live now, you know. CTV channel carrying the show live.
Well, congratulations. Continue to do that.
Please, you want to ask a question? Please.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate it.
Dr. Andrew, congratulations again on the work you're doing. I think we kind of have the same objective of youth work, youth development, and so on. So it's good that it's happening in basketball. I don't think you can really answer the question whether I was good or not. But I will answer for you to tell you that I was good. But the question really is for the coaches. You said that they're here recruiting and looking for opportunities of athletes here to go to academies and probably the ability to go pro. But what characteristics, basically, just to put out there, you're looking for as a coach, whether it's technical, tactical, in terms of age, height, physiological, etc. What exactly you're looking for?
Well, I will have the coaches answer that question, but again, I would want to say to you, you are a professional, and I appreciate you and the hard work that you have put in. I think persons like you should be celebrated all throughout the length and breadth of Antigua. Sometimes persons like you put in the work and nobody get noticed. And I don't know, that's how it is sometimes, but
that's why I brought you here this morning. That's why I brought you here this morning.
And you've done a great job, Earl. I really appreciate you, man. So I'll let the coaches answer that questions thing.
No problem.
In terms of what we look for, obviously for basketball is a athletic sport, contact sports. We're looking for guys who are tall, fast, and athletic, able to take to have strong bodies to be able to last. But also we're looking for kids' ability to listen, to follow instructions. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. So for a kid who could play high level, you have to be able to take a lot of information in a short space of time in a very uncomfortable situation and be able to execute. And that's what we look for, especially in terms of guards and bigs. How would they handle the pressure? Because in basketball in Europe and the United States, it's a high-paced game, it's a high-pressure game, it's a high-stressful game. So how would they respond under stress? And the thing for Caribbean kids is that we have the athleticism, we listen, we pay attention, but when the pressure comes, how do we respond under pressure? And that's the thing we look for, how you can take information in a short space of time and listen to that information, execute that information.
Excellent. Anything you want to add, other coach? You want to add anything to that? What?
Yeah, Coach Jonathan hit it right on the nail. When you talk about the history of the Caribbean players, it's always, they always talk about the length, the height, the high motor. In basketball, a player that has a high motor is the player that works really hard, go after every rebound, they dive on the floor for loose balls, steals, defense, right? And skill set, in terms terms of being able to dribble, pass, shoot, the basic skills in basketball, those things, that's a process, and it takes time. And so, you know, we're not looking for the next Kevin Durant. You know, we're looking for the guys and girls who have the basic fundamentals to go along with the natural strengths. You know, the speed, the quickness, and the jumping ability. But like Coach Jonathan said, you know, do you have a certain IQ? How fast can you process things and then put it into place? So these are the things that we've been throwing at them. Yesterday being the first day, today, and then tomorrow we'll have the games, and in the games we want it to have structure. We want it to look good. We want the spacing to look good. We're throwing game concepts. And so overall, I think within these 3 days, I think each player will be able at the end to say, they learned this, they learned that. And if we can do that as coaches, then we've done our job. Then obviously we'll have a database with all the players, so when opportunities will come up, we can go to the database and say, okay, this prep school is looking for a 16-year-old who plays this position. Who do we have, Byron? You know, let's go back to the film and see who best fits this opportunity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I want to jump in here, like I heard saying that looking for the next Kevin Durant, but why not the next Kemba Walker, Speedy Claxton, or Gilgeous Alexander? Why not?
Yeah, no, that was just an example, because you look at today's game, you have guys that are like Kevin Durant, 6'11", but they have guard skills. That's rare. I mean, you get one of those every what. So more likely, yes, a Speedy Claxton, a Kemba Walker, you know, a small guard with speed and quickness that can get the teammates involved, score, that's more likely. But, you know, the LeBron James of the world, the Kevin Durant of the world, that's rare. And we don't want to put pressure on these kids. I've been saying it the whole week. I said, hey, listen, you know, the New York Knicks general manager will not be looking live at this stuff, so there's no need to be nervous. Just play the game, just listen, you know, process the information, and play with confidence.
No, tell me something. Have you been to any carnival fest since you've been here?
No, we've been busy working. You know, this is a business trip. You know, we'll find time. I told Byron I'm looking for the individual who cooks the best dipping and saltfish or Fijian saltfish, because that's my favorite dish.
Someone like a real Antiguan. Someone like a true Antiguan.
Real Antiguan, man. Don't pepper pot, ma, rice pudding. Come on.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic, you know.
And another, it's good because you said within the last 2 days you have been doing more of a skill setting individual work, but tomorrow would be the aspect of seeing games. So is it important as well that you would have teach to these individuals the importance of teamwork as well, because obviously in the game that's what we're going to see tomorrow. So how do you speak along, or what would you say along the lines of that psychological aspect, that it's not only an individual sport, but you now have to end up working with another set of persons that you're not accustomed to?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Basketball is a team sport, obviously, and communication helps with that. You know, these kids have to communicate with each other, have tough discussions. For example, you know, team sports is like a relationship. A relationship will never go good for the entire span of the relationship. It's be ebbs and flows. So the basketball is based on runs. So you have a bad run, you have to be able to communicate that. You have a good run, you have to be able to communicate and build up with that as well. So team sports are about communication and listening. You know, it's a high emotional sport, so somebody may say something to you the right thing in an aggressive way. You have to take what they said and not how they say it, in terms of the players and coaches as well. And it's about understanding it's for the betterment of the team and being selfless. If you help your teammates to grow, you will look even better. And I think they understand that concept is just for them to go with every day and become habit. And basketball is about habits. These kids are great kids. They're very respectful. They listen, but it's about habits. They will do it one day, they will forget the other day. If you do it every day, it becomes a habit, so it becomes natural. So that team concept needs to be drilled into them every day, so that it becomes a habit, so they don't have to think about it in the future. So whatever team they go on, whether it be a high school team, a college team, a professional team, that will transition over. So they won't have to learn anything new in terms of the team concepts because they learn it from a very young age and they do it every day. And I think for us, just in Antigua and the entire program is consistency. That is the issue that we have. We have consistent practices, consistent development, consistent basketball for the kids to understand this is life. This is not something you pick up, you can put down. If you really want to make it to the level that we think these kids can make it at, you have to do this every day, some type of basketball every day, and that will build the team concepts.
I like that word you said, well, consistency, because my guys here this morning, that's we have been talking about for the whole morning, consistency in terms of being a professional. But being a professional, you have to be consistent all the while. And that's why I find you true calling. Also, I like to the way how you process information. As you say, somebody might say something, but that's way how they say it, how you receive it. And that is so important. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of skill set, you guys, like Kinish was asking, is tomorrow you guys be assessing different skill sets in terms of dribbling, the passing, and stuff like that?
Well, more so, it'll be an evaluation now. Now it's a game setting. We give them what's called the breakdown drills, the concepts, and now they have to put it into play to go along with their own skill set that they have, their strengths and weaknesses. And honestly, we'll be just taking notes because we have to go back to these notes when the time comes, and we have to talk to the coaches over in the States and say, okay, this player right here, here's what he or she does well. Here are the weaknesses, and then go from there.
Sounds good.
My question would be how often would a basketball individual have the opportunity to have a camp like this in Antigua and Barbuda?
I mean, it depends. So for me, in best case scenario, that would be probably once every 3 months where you can have a camp where you can evaluate kids every 3 months. But obviously, we live in the real world, that may not happen. But when we don't have the camp, these kids have to stay motivated, and we need the local coaches or local basketball federation to keep up on these kids, because as we know, kids will find time to do other stuff. And if they say they want to do basketball, I think it's our responsibility to keep them on track and to help them be motivated. People say motivation comes from within. Yeah, to a certain point, but as kids, they are motivated by different things. They have short attention spans. So I think we, as the gatekeepers of basketball in Antigua, we need to keep these kids motivated by having different tournaments, by just having practice every day, and just listening to the heartbeat of these kids and what they want in terms of, do the kids want to play a lot? Okay, we can build some mini tournaments, or just the local coaches come together and just have some development programs. I think for us, we rely too much on the international stuff where we have all the resources at home. We have these coaches in Antigua, they know their stuff. These coaches in Antigua, they know the players, they know the ground. So why not? They can build the foundation, so when a guy like Speedy and myself come down, the foundation's already built. We can just add the little stuff, and we can take kids who we think are the best fit for certain situations. So I think it is a process of harmony. We need to come together as a country in Antigua and Barbuda, and come together and say what's best for the youth of basketball. And I think once you get that out of the way, I think Antigua and Barbuda basketball will flourish.
And let me add to that, Coach Jonathan. He's obviously not here, but Coach Ronka, the local coach who's been assisting us during the practices, he's done an unbelievable job. I mean, he's along with Byron. I mean, you can tell the passion is there, and he coaches from his heart. And yesterday we saw some of the things that we were preaching and going over. He said the same things. I mean, since he's been working with the youth here, but it's always, when you hear it from a different voice, sometimes the players get it, or now it's like, oh, wow, Coach Parker is right, you know what I mean? But he's done an unbelievable job, so I just wanted to give him a shout out.
Yeah. And again, for me, I always like to give Coach Wanga a lot of praise, because he is one of the most disciplined coaches in Antigua. I can close my eyes and I say, okay, practice is at 5 every Friday. I know 15 minutes to 5, Coach Wanga is going to be there. So the kids not going to show up and say, well, where are the coaches? That's not going to happen with us. And we practice year round. We don't take breaks. Every Friday, every Tuesday, we practice. We don't care if it's raining, sun shining, we're going to be there. And I think that consistency level has helped our kids to develop their games at a high level in Antigua and Barbuda. So they know Fridays, they go to the gym, they go to the court. That's just the way they are. When they come back to Antigua, it's like Friday, what's Friday? Friday's basketball. So that's why we want to get all these young people to start to think about get into the gym, work on their game. And we as the coaches and the recruiters, we're always constantly looking for opportunities for our players in the Caribbean. I've been speaking to Jonathan well over 8 years. And we've had these conversations. Jonathan say, hey, look, remember that kid that I saw 3 years ago? How is he doing? What is he doing? Where is he? Maybe an opportunity might come up for him. And these are the conversations that we continue to have, and all again for the youth and the basketball development.
And I think also, Dr. Andrews, that it's important that we impress, and I'm sure the coaches will agree that you don't wait until it's team practice time to show up. If you want to be good at what you're doing, it's important that you work on yourself all the time. There are always time for you to improve. Whether you need to go and do your 100 jump shots or your 100 free throws, you must always work on yourself individually as well, because that's what most of these guys, professional guys, do as well. They don't wait until training to train, but the pre-training is important as well as the training. And I'm sure you have been encouraging our young athletes about that as well, because when they do get the opportunity, and I'm sure many of our young basketballers will get the opportunity with these coach, that they must understand the importance of working hard, working with your team, communication, your personal skill set, yes, but the importance of working on your own skill as well. So when you get with your team, you only make your team better as well. And again, like I said, thanks for doing that for Antigua and so on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Again, we're putting the kids in some uncomfortable positions, and we want to see them being uncomfortable. We don't want you to be comfortable with your game. We want to always be improving. How can I do better with my left hand? How can I improve my dribbling skills? So these coaches, I say, yesterday, I've been involved with basketball for many years, and I think yesterday I was like I was in school. The details that these coaches was going through, and I guess because they're young, they're still flexible, they were still showing the positions, and they were moving and doing the drills itself. And for me, it was impactful to see the kids looking at them and imitating what they're seeing. So again, I'm very thankful for the coach. I think yesterday was a dynamic day. I'm looking forward for this evening, and I'm looking forward for Sunday night. Sunday night is going to be special. We have the games being recorded. We have our film crew in place. We have our DJ in place. We have everything in place. But all the people have to do is to show up, and let's put everybody in jersey and just celebrating these young people.
Sounds good.
So thank you so much, Earl, for this opportunity. Of course, I have to go see some patients now. I'm sure they might be frowning a little bit.
You want to go golf course, man, top line. You want to see the valley.
No golf today. See, I gave up golf today for basketball, so you can see where my true love is, okay?
Well, I would take Steve to one of his carnival dances. I would take Steve, this Antiguan guy.
I bring him by you, Taddy. I bring him by you. You seem to know where all the linemen were all affected.
I have to open the lineman thing now. I don't hear
we're thinking that we're not too old for that either.
Well, let's give Steve and Speedy the opportunity to closing remarks.
Again, appreciate the opportunity, Coach Byron and what Daddy gave to me to come here to see the amazing talent. Again, I'm excited and I'm learning as well, seeing how these kids, as you come to different islands, you learn the culture. So I'm learning the culture, learning how things are done here, and it's pretty exciting. Again, Byron has done a great job over the years, and I respect him a lot for his work because there's a lot of sacrifice. And just for the kids out there, just know that this is a grind, this is a journey. Everything that you want will happen today or tomorrow. It's going to take some time, and you have to keep grinding, keep improving on the game, and just be motivated. And if this is what you want, you need to understand sacrifice, and you have to sacrifice something to gain something else. So I'm excited again. I appreciate the opportunity, and I love Antigua.
And I'm thinking, and I'm just thinking to you, you're from Trinidad, you're carnival man too. Now we're getting into the carnival straight
Yeah. Speedy.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. This is home for me. I'm happy to be home, and I want this to be one of many experiences that we put on for the youth. And I want to take the time out to thank the sponsors, because there are a lot of sponsors that were a part of this that helped make this possible. So thanks to the sponsors. And how about yesterday when we talk about, Antiguan pros that stopped by, Sharif and Termite, and they dropped some jewels. They spoke to the kids and gave them some information and some feedback. That's invaluable, because when you talk about one of your own that made it out, that played college basketball, that played overseas for 12 years,
right.
That's rare, and it's good because you get to speak to these guys, you get to feel, touch them. They're not like Hollywood, and so it was happy to see those guys come by, stop by, and talk to the kids.
Good stuff, man. Nice having you guys. Byron, nice again.
Thank you.
As you know,
Thank you all.
Have a good day, guys.
Byron, Jay win the tournament, man. Jay win the golf tournament.
But these guys, as Kalisha, as I was telling you earlier, I think we spoke earlier week, I'm about youths. I like youth empowerment.
Yeah.
And I about all positive vibes when it comes to youth, because I learned that from the master over there himself, Teddy, because he always about youths. When we used to be at Sugar Factory Ground, he always told us he has trained us to play for the national team. He's trained us to play international cricket for West Indies and stuff. So he never see us as local players. He always look at the international level.
Yeah.
And the first thing he asks you, what you're here for? And if you tell him that you're here for just sake, he said, you're at the wrong place, I can't help you. So, pick back on that now, hearing Mr. Banner talking about you, you have the same kind of standard as Teddy does. A high standard, international standard.
Well,
and that is good.
In everything also, you want to always try to maintain who you are as a person. And I spoke about earlier about vacation. Your own moral values and standard, your ethics, your credibility, and who, as I said, who you are as a person. And I am a teacher. That's who I am.
Yeah.
And that's who I think I've always been. On Saturday I went on the basketball court in Potters, and some young kids, and they came, they said, Mom, you want to play some basketball with us? So I said, okay. And then suddenly now, I hear them start calling me coach. So I figure, okay, they're calling me coach now because I'm start telling them what is double dribbling and what is traveling, and I'm stopping. And I said, automatic. So my friend asked me, wait, they carry this teaching thing everywhere? But I didn't do anything. Right. They just start calling me coach. They first came and said, Mom, you want to play with us? And then suddenly I was coach. But I figured it's just a part of me.
Right.
I do it with my nieces and nephews. I do it with anybody. I love being around children. Right. I'm very playful and everything. But in everything I do, try to maintain who I am as a person, my morals, my values, and my standards. And that's what I will do. Sometimes you may get hot-headed and whatever because people will try to take you out. Right. The guy spoke about sacrifice, and people don't think about the sacrifices that you're making as an individual. They just see what you're reaping, but they don't know what you would have done. And they try to do everything possible to take you out. And sometimes, you want to act outside of who you are, but you just have to maintain who you are and stay true to who you are and just be strong. Because in any way, you're not supposed to allow anybody to take away what you've been working for so long. Sure. And even simple as a basketball player, footballer, referee, whatever it is, people don't see how hard these guys work in training 4 or 5 days a week. Right. Having to, as Wasner says, some things he can't do. As the coach just said, he here on a business trip, he can't affect or anything and so on. And that's sometimes you have to forget. You have to forget all of those things and so on. If I go in a tournament, I can't just get up and say I'm going for whatever. There's rules, regulations, everything I have to follow. I have to ensure that what I'm there to do first is sorted. But as I said, people sometimes, and I guess it's a worldwide thing or whatever, just look, see what you're reaping, and suddenly angry that it's not them, jealous of you, all this thing, and they try to do everything to cut you down. But it's just, it's a journey, as was mentioned earlier, and what they would have said is very consistent with what we would have been saying today. Consistency.
Yes.
The journey, nobody ever said the journey is going to be easy. There's going to be roadblocks, but what you're going to do at every roadblock, you stop or turn around, you try to get around it and keep going, and that's what people are. People are like roadblocks. The negative things that come into your life are like roadblocks. Your positivity, your objective, your goal, looking at what is at the end of the road, or what the journey entails to you, is what you have to keep looking at to keep going. And it's the same thing as an athlete, it's the same thing as a referee, it's the same thing as an instructor in sport, it's the same thing as an administrator, it's the same as anything that we do. That's just what it is. And so it just shows that in every sport, so we spoke basketball, we spoke football and refereeing, but everything is still in line. Consistency, sacrifice, journey, what you're going to do, training, the importance of training, and what you're going to do.
Right. Well, I know we went over time, but we have to put it back. I know I told you 20 minutes, but I guess today was, so I apologize. Give you all so long. I know, but guess what time? She does not know. Every time while she's not on her world trips to them, she's going to come and sit down with us in the studio. You know?
All right, Earl, I'll give you that.
So, Mr. Ballard, any closing remarks?
And my closing remarks is to encourage anyone listening that can hear. You want to be a referee or in any sport, you have to have the basic discipline. Start there. I mean, set a goal. If you want to come into refereeing, for example, losing some weight, and then you find you have interest in football, and you say, hey, I have another goal. I want to become a local referee. Hey, I have another goal. I want to be an international referee. You come and with your basic principles, and you keep on working. It would take you far. It will help you to encourage others while on the journey to join. And then we have this cycle where everyone will want to be something, whether if they can't make it in football, they can make it in refereeing. If they can't make it in basketball, they can make it refereeing also. So we have to always remember that don't let it stop where you just can't make a team. There's other teams, there are referee teams. So try, just give it a try. And that's my closing remarks.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
I was telling Kalisha something about you, remember the coach Wanga they spoke so highly of?
Yeah.
That's one of Lucas' women, 40J.
Okay.
Right. Now you start with the sports and games. Look,
Okay.
Look, he got him to have him refereeing and all that and coaching basketball. So he started with Luke.
Right.
I get there with that. So it's good to know he's still going strong.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's great. You know what I mean? That he's doing a fine job. And Lucas, so like Kalisha, you look back and say, hey, but he was a good guy.
Yes, right.
So that's important.
Kalisha, closing remarks.
Oh, I thought I gave closing remarks
No.
earlier.
I just have fun in the studio. I just love here. So I know when you come to my trip, make sure you come back.
She has to come.
Okay, see that? You must come back.
No, like I was saying that, let me say something. Oftentimes we tend to think that the 10 CXCs and the 20 CXCs is what is of importance. No, when I graduated high school, I graduated 4 CXCs, and when I told my students that today in the class, they said, "Miss, you lie, man. Oh, anybody have 4 CXC so far?" And as I said before, it's the journey. Not because you didn't do well here means that you're going to do. When I say 4, I did 6 subjects, but I did 2 basic at the time. Basic was not important, and I failed one, so you know what it is. But guess what happened? I still went through college, took the exam, did my engineering, graduated high day engineering as well, go on to university, graduated there, do a master's degree, graduated there, and where I am. So it's the journey. Nobody ever said the journey was going to start easy. It was going to be easy, but you must know what you want in life. You must know where you're coming from and where you want to be. Some of us grew up really, really poor. We don't have anything or whatever, and your objective was, I want to go to university. I want to be able to help my mommy or my daddy, my brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephew, and to be an example to other people around me. And that's how you have to think. There are times you're going to get roadblocks. There are times you're going to be knocked down. But are you going to stay down? No. Just remember always what is your goal. And in everything, give thanks. God is in the mix of everything, and that's just how I see things. Sometimes we get up and we don't say thank you, and that's just human nature. Internally, we are thankful. We don't say thank you, and we have a tendency of not to be appreciative and be thankful for things that have been given to us or done with us. And I think I'm very thankful. I often tell Mr. Broomer and other persons who have been around, and I appreciate everybody who have helped me along my way. But at the same time, remain true to yourself and who you are, because some persons will try to derail you, try to let you do things that you don't want to do or things that are illegal. And if you don't know who you are as a person and stay strong, you will go that way and then mash up everything that you would have worked hard for. So just always remember in everything who you are, your values, your morals, what you stand for, and stay true to them. Your credibility, and nobody can take anything of that sort from you. And what is for you is for you. What God has planned for you is for you. No matter how much persons try come to do anything, it's for you. And that's my closing remark. Just stay positive in everything.
Thanks.
I just want to piggyback on something that Khadija said to her, because she said that she had 4 subjects.
Right.
But I remember Dr. He told me that, and my wife so many years ago.
Right.
You don't need more than 4 subjects, you know. You have to know what you really want to do in life.
Right.
And he was one of our best surgeons and so great surgeon in Antigua.
Right.
So if you know what you want to do, you focus on those subjects that you want to do. And hey, as she just said, so, you know, I mean, I'm just reminded of that.
Right.
Focus on what you want to do. You know what I mean? And she could have gone into engineering.
Right.
But she decided to go to sports and physical education and all that. And she has done a wonderful job.
That's a wonderful, excellent job. From what she has said, what Ms. Banner has said, and the level that she has reached and stuff. Excellent job. Real nice job. Tidisha, Mr. Banner, we're really happy that you guys came and spent some time in the studio with us today. It was a wonderful program. I must say one of the best programs I have so far. No, I'm being honest, not because I'm close to you. I'm being honest, it's too much information. Yeah, we didn't know, as I said, Taddy said too, I didn't know referee go through so much. We had Sir Richardson on the program the other day, and we thought that just being a match referee was just taking notes and stuff. But the things that he said you have to go through as a match referee and stuff, we have to respect him now more for his job that you have. And now hearing you talking and stuff, we now respect you, respect the referee. You guys have a real big job, tough job. It's not an easy job.
When I see referee, I see 2 teeth on.
Yeah, no, but no, you see, it's a big job you guys have. So thanks for sharing.
That's the first thing we get as a referee, your teeth.
Yeah. But thanks for coming with us in the studio. Thanks for sharing to us, sharing to the public. Really appreciate it. And as I said, you're welcome to whenever you're that on your international
Banner, you come back.
You're welcome to come back. You all know where the studio at, you know where to come. Just, you don't have to ask me, just show up.
The next day, Banner, I come back. I have his daddy and his Zoom to ask, why didn't get the guy right to go to school?
Yeah. So
his mommy, you want to know what's going on?
Exactly. So you guys are home, free to come anytime and talk to us. You know, it's open door. And guys, thanks for viewing Sports in Mandela. Have a wonderful weekend.